Hey, this is the introduction for Physics 211. My name is Dr. Doug Knight, and I'm going to go over the syllabus. The syllabus is on Canvas. You will get one of these when you come to class, either Monday or Friday, your first day. If you decide to come, of course, on Monday and be in the overflow class for when you would normally have required to come on Friday, I'm cool with that as well. I'm going to go over the syllabus, talk about things on it. You're expected to have watched this before, on the day of, or before you come to class. So we're just going to go over it. So class times are Monday and Friday, 9:15 to 10:15. This is Physics 211, Analytical Physics. The main classroom, the physical classroom is 107. The overflow class will be in 109, which is right beside this classroom. My office is Minji's 201Q if you want to come by. You see my email address there on the syllabus, assuming you're looking at this or looking at the syllabus from your Canvas page. And you see my office phone. Getting a hold of me via the office phone works only if I'm there. Email is the best way, probably. I can give you my cell phone personal if you need it. So we're going to study mechanics, sound, and heat. That is first semester analytical physics. We'd like for you to we'll be taking Calc 1 in this course. The required textbook is Physics for Scientists and Engineers, A Strategic Approach by Randall Knight, 4th edition. Make sure you get 4th edition. It's not a relative, by the way. It's a California guy. This from Pearson. There are multiple versions of this 4th edition. There's like a half of it for just the mechanics, sound, and heat section. There's some that's like volume 2, volume 3, some that's got standard, some that's got all 3 volumes. If you're only going to take the first semester of this course, this is a 2-sequent course, 211 and 212. Electricity, magnetism, and optics is next. If you're only going to, some of the computer science guys in here only have to take 1 semester. If you only take 1 semester, I'm cool that you don't get basically both volumes or the standard hardbound version of the book. It's up to you. If you want to get volume 1 effectively, that's cool. You can find them out there. But if you're going to be taking both semesters, it would behoove you to get something that's got a book that's got both of them in there. If you want to try to get volume 1, then buy volume 2 next time. That's your deal. But there's a chance you might not be able to find volume 2. And then you have to buy the full version of the book anyways next semester. But that's up to you on that. But Physics for Scientists and Engineers, A Strategic Approach by Randall Knight. Homework will come directly from that book. I have a couple of books I recommend with it. There's a Shams Outline of Physics for Engineering and Science. There's a 3rd edition I have listed on the syllabus. About any edition that was good. That's kind of like a Cliff Notes version of the course, you could say. If you don't know what Cliff Notes are, you just Google it. There's also an essential calculus-based physics study guide workbook, The Laws of Motion by Chris McMullen. That's out there. It's got a lot of worked problems in it. If you want to see that, you can find worked problems online, but if you want a book for that, that one works well. Both of these books I don't think are that expensive anywhere from new or used, $10, $15, $20 at most, I think. So when you get done with this course, you should be able to apply the knowledge of motion, forces, energy, heat, and sound. That's what we're going to study as soon as we get through everything, to explain natural physical processes and how these processes relate to engineering. That's part of we're an engineering physics program, so you'll learn the processes that govern how the world works. In our case, in this semester, energy, heat, forces, and stuff. But also we're going to look at applications. That's going to be more in the lab part of it. We're going to use calculus along with these physical principles to analyze and solve problems that you encounter in everyday life. This is calculus-based physics. You can see, we do easy calculus. I would call it basic derivatives, basic integrals. Concepts of calculus are going to be very important. Graphically understanding what a derivative is, a slope. Graphically understanding what an integral is, area under a curve, bucket. I'll call an integral a bucket function. And then basically we're going to be able to hopefully identify those principles that govern physical systems that we see out there. In this case, energy is the main deal. In this one, you got conservation of energy here. Forces are a little bit easier way to solve that problem. So class is going to be lectures, a demonstration. We're going to solve problems. I'll solve problems on the board. I may have you solve problems on the board. In-class Q&A. I like a lot of in-class back and forth Q&A with the students, questions and answers. Do not expect to be able to sit through the course, especially the day you're required to be here in the physical room that I'm teaching in, and to get away with not answering a question. I will try my best to call on everybody every day in class. I think that's very important. And not just for a yes or no answer. It's going to be something where I'm going to require some thought to it. We're going to be an adult professional learning environment. That's really important. This is not high school. Adult professional learning environment. We'll make sure to do that. I worked at engineering companies. I worked at Department of Energy labs. We're going to be a professional learning environment. You're going to act professional. If not, we'll go through processes to help you be and act professional. And make sure that happens. And if you can't, well, of course, there's certain processes we go about to, you don't have to be in the course if you're not professional. That's just bottom line. Be ready to learn when class begins and engage the whole class. When I walk in that door, it's on. And we're going to go the whole hour. I will rarely let you out early. You may have to shut me up at 10 o'clock because I'm just going and going and going. I get excited about this stuff. So you be ready that whole hour, to start. And we're going to go. You're expected to read the material before you come to class that I'm going to lecture on. You will know what I'm lecturing on by the daily schedule that will be on Canvas. I expect you to have at least read it before you come to class. Because if you take what I teach and put on the board cold, that's going to be hard to learn. Especially if you hadn't had physics before. If you had physics before in high school or another class, maybe it's not as difficult. But I'm going to go in hard on explaining the material, and there'll be mathematics with it. Just somewhat of an introduction. Read it before you come to class. Read it the night before. I definitely think that's going to be important to help you learn the material quicker, be able to solve the problems quicker. There's something called a learning curve, and you don't want it real steep. You want to flatten that slope of that learning curve as best you can. I expect you to treat others as you wish to be treated. Non-professional, disrespectful behavior to fellow students or myself will not be tolerated. This is an imperative. If you're disrespectful, if you're not professional, you'll be reminded on how to do that. If it continues, we'll have a little meeting, and if that doesn't work, we can always go to dean of students and go that way. There is an honor code. We'll talk about that here a little bit later. So next in the syllabus, you see the sections and the courses and the chapters I'm going to do. I've got basically 20 chapters there. I will do my best to get through it. I don't know if I can. 20 chapters in 13 weeks. That's a lot of rocking and rolling to make it happen. So be ready, listen fast, and take notes fast. Keep up with class. That's going to be imperative that you do that. Physical component of class will be traditional lectures or in-person instructions will occur on Mondays and Fridays. You're expected to show up either Monday or Friday, depending on the split you're in. I've already emailed out the split. It's also on Canvas. You can show up for both sessions, Monday and Friday, which, if you can, I think it's a good idea. I'm setting it up for you. But you don't have to. But if you do, you stay on schedule. If you want to ask questions, I'm going to have a microphone and a camera sitting in the other classroom, so you can right then ask me questions. Now, you can Zoom it from your room if you want, but you and I both know if you're sitting in your room, you're not going to have the same mental acuity and learning probably going about than if you're sitting in the classroom and you're up and going and taking notes. But that would be a time where we can have an interaction that way. And if you don't feel comfortable using the mic, you can always just get up in the room over there, walk to the door and say, "Hey, Dr. I got a question on this." And I'll stop class and we'll go over that. And I'm cool with that, okay? So there is a ability on the day you're not supposed to come to see class using a term when you're using synchronously or on time like you normally would. I do have to ask you to do a sign-in sheet for each day you show up. This is because of contact tracing requirements at the university. Just sign the sign-in sheet when you leave. There'll be a notebook for each class. They'll have a day and just sign it for it. If you do not attend the overflow room during the other day of the split schedule, You actually already watched the Zoom lecture before you come to the next class. I'll be recording the Zooms for, like if you're on Fridays, you have to come on Fridays. The Monday class will be Zoomed out. I'll record the Zoom and I'll either put it on YouTube or I'll put it someplace where you can watch it. For that, I say on here, it's very important for your grade in this class that you watch the video of the lecture for the day you do not attend class. I'm not going to make you turn in notes for that day, that Monday or Friday, but you need to watch the lecture for that class, because I will do sequential lectures, which leads me to the Wednesday, what I'm considering the traditional Wednesday part of the class that we don't have this semester. I'm going to release a video probably late Tuesday, early Wednesday of a lecture. So I'm going to lecture first day of class. I'll go through 2 or 3 sections. Wednesday, I'll do it online. I'll just do a video here on the board. I'll release that lecture. You are to watch that lecture before Friday, and I will give you a time to turn it in. So like Friday morning at 8 a.m., you have to turn that in. And you will turn in your handwritten notes of that Wednesday lecture. I will expect handwritten notes for that. That needs to be in a format I can read, most preferably a PDF format, because I want it to be straight up and down, right to left to read. I don't want to see flipping, and I don't want to deal with crazy file formats. So PDF, I don't have it in here, unless you can convince me otherwise for you. Personally, but I prefer to have things in a PDF manner. And you convert images and most everything to a PDF. If you have questions on how to do that, see me. So that Wednesday, the lecture will probably be put on YouTube, and I'll put a link on the Canvas page. When classes start on Friday, I'm going to pick up from the end of that that lecture I put up, the virtual Wednesday lecture that you are to have watched. So Friday we'll lecture. So then Monday. So if you showed up on Friday, Monday you don't have to be here, but if you want to, you can. I've got before you watch that Monday lecture, then that Wednesday you definitely have to turn in those notes. Watch that lecture. I'm trying to keep this as close to a normal classroom situation as I can, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. So how are you grade? We're going to have bi-weekly tests. We're going to have a cumulative midterm and final. So the midterm will be half the semester, and the final will be the other half of the semester. There will be a project, assuming we can make it work, and there will be class attendance participation. Grading scale, 30% homework and quizzes. Quizzes can occur whenever I feel like it. There will be some random quizzes. I just want to see if you're paying attention, see if you're keeping up. If I give you a quiz, it'll be on something we've had before, and I'll let you use your notes. Bi-weekly tests are 40%, projects 10, class participation's 5, and final exams 15%. I use a 10-point grading scale. Labs, we'll talk more about labs when you go to those. They'll be held at usual time, but because of social distancing, we'll have 2 different rooms. It'll be 109 and probably here at 107. We may do some floating labs where you just come in as needed and you got a week to get it done. We'll see how that goes. We'll talk more about that when we get in the lab, when you show up for lab. There will be no labs the first week. Homework. Homework will be assigned as questions and problems at the end of the chapter. Quizzes will probably occur, I have one here on the Friday of each week that a test is not given. I like to give tests on Fridays, but with this Monday, Friday stuff, I'm still trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to handle that. I'll have that for you after the first week. We're going to see how it goes. There will be no test or quiz that first week. That would be the second week. I can give you time to get books and everything in too. So by the second week, I'll have that homework quizzes stuff, the quizzes part figured out. Basically, your grade for homework and quizzes, I take a ratio of all homework problems and quizzes completed to all homework problems assigned and quizzes given to get your homework grade. I give 1 point is the value of each completed homework problem. Homework is graded on completeness. Did you completely do the homework? I don't check for correctness. If you're going to do it, you need to try to get it right. Quizzes, I grade on a scale of 1 to 10, 0 to 10, Or if you make 100 on a quiz, that's a 10. That's like 10 homework points. So each quiz counts as 10 homework points there. I try to do tests on 2 weeks of material. There'll be a few short questions and problems. I try to give you normally 30 minutes. We may make this online. I may make it on Wednesday since we have that Wednesday time. Like I said, this is the current idea. We're trying to figure this out as we go. I may make it you show up sometime on Wednesday to do the test. But I'm trying to figure it out right now. The test will be closed book, but I would give you a 3x5 index card to do it. So final exams, I say here is cumulative, everything after the midterm exam. Midterm and finals are take-homes. The project, probably going to be, assuming we get the equipment, rocket related. There'll be some more stuff on that. It'll be an engineering design project. You'll do design, build, fly. If we get everything in and this virus stuff doesn't cause problems, you'll design, build, fly a rocket that will go and carry eggs, and it will go anywhere from 800 to almost 2,000 feet in the sky, which is pretty darn good. You need a makeup test. It's really for only medical problems or college-sponsored events. You got to contact me prior to the test to get one. I don't do makeup tests. You sleep in. You don't show up for a test that's scheduled. Oh, I was sick. Yeah, that's it. That's why I didn't show up that day. You don't have anything medical to show that you did from the Cornerstone, which is basically school nurse, to say anything. I need to know that you're going to miss a test ahead of time, and I'm going to need documentation that you were sick. I would like to believe you, but history has shown that system can be manipulated by students that just don't want to do the test at the time when they're assigned. Late homework and quizzes. Quizzes I don't make up because that's for the class you're in. If you're out of class, I may make it up, but that's only if it's the absence is excused. If you're unexcused absence, you don't get to make up stuff. I don't accept homework late. Give me the homework you have on the day that it's due. If it's normally due the day of the test. If there's mitigating circumstances, I'm sure, say you get the virus crap stuff and you're in, say, quarantined, or you got to say, oh, who knows what's going to happen there? I don't want to know. But if you can't physically get it to me, that's understandable. We'll work with you. If you're in the hospital, I'll work with you. If you're if you're yakking up and you can't get, we'll work. But bottom line, that needs to be a dire situation to work with you on homework. Turn in the homework when it's due, however much you got done, that's it. Late final exam, only accepted for dire events, medical problem or college-sponsored event. Sometimes people, with athletics, college-sponsored events, that's different. That's an excused absence. I'll work with you there. But it's the unexcused, I forgot to show up. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. That's really tough because final exam's a big deal. If you don't show up for that, just because you overslept, probably going to be a zero. And a zero on that, that's 15% of your grade. That's a grade and a half. So if you had a 90 going into the final, you would have a 75 coming out. So it's basically, it can affect you by 2 letter grades right there. Attendance, basically you're required to attend all scheduled class and lab meetings, but I say with the virus issue, if you're sick or think you're getting sick, please do not come to class. Please use common sense in this regard. Continually being out though because you think you are sick, but really are not that people would try to play that, will definitely negatively affect your final grade. If you're going to be out for being sick, please let me know before class and we consider it excused. If you do think you're getting sick, go to the school nurse, go to Cornerstone, get an excuse so you have a verification of being sick and a legitimate excused absence. Of course, with excused absences, if you miss more than 3, I'm going to lower your final average by 3 points. If you miss more than 5, might as well just give you that. If you miss more than 5 in this class on excused absences, you're not trying and you're probably going to fail the class anyway. So those two kind of go hand in hand. Phone usage, laptops, and just classroom environment. Again, this is a professional classroom environment, so I expect professional behavior. Phones are going to be set on vibrate. upon entering class and only out to look at a text that can be quickly put away or as requested by the professor. All phone calls should be taken outside the classroom. Texting, snapping, or whatever you're going to do should also occur outside the classroom. If you need to sit here and text somebody on your phone, take it outside and come back in. I don't want to be out lecturing, looking around at students as I'm lecturing and seeing you doing this. That's not acceptable. You do that in a professional meeting, the boss is going to ask you, what on the phone is more important than what I'm saying? Is that thing on the phone paying you your salary? This is your job to get your next job. And so I've got to train you how to perform well at this job to help you on your next job, which is after you graduate or after you get your master's and get a job and go out in the work environment. In other words, texting, Snapchatting, you see my list of things I go through here, Minecrafting, PUBG, and whatever you want to do, Rocket League in here. That's not included in class or in lab. Constantly checking your phone for whatever reason without approval of the professor beforehand will not be tolerated. Just not. We're going to be professional here. You'll be given a warning, then ask to leave class for that day if a second offense occurs. If it becomes habitual, I'm going to ask you to leave because you don't want to be in the class. You want to be on your phone when you want to do the classwork. Laptops will be used for classroom work. Using your laptop on the phone to do the same thing we talked about earlier, not permitted. It's not to occur. I don't care how good your fantasy league is or social media or just web browsing you like to do because you think I'm boring or you think what I'm saying is I got that stuff. Just not acceptable. You'll be asked to close your laptop if I see it going on. If it becomes habitual, of course, I'll ask you to disenroll from the class. Treat your fellow students and professor politely with dignity and respect. Whether you agree with me or other people or not, Unfortunately, I have to say this, but I got to. We're not going to discuss politics in class. We're not going to go through contentious issues in class. We're going to talk about Physics 211 and topics related to Physics 211. If you want to talk about politics or contentious issues, that's outside the classroom environment. I'm happy to talk to you about that if you want to talk to me about it. But I'm not going to do that in the context of teaching you Physics 211. It won't be in the class. It won't be in the lab. I'm trying my best not to inject mine into it. I expect you to do the same. And if you start, I'll ask for it to stop. We don't need that stuff in here. I need you to learn and work hard to understand the physics. That's the goal. It's hard enough with all the other stuff around getting in the way. Okay? You see the help desk numbers, Canvas support line. We will follow the academic integrity policy. Don't cheat. Basically, if I cheat, I catch you cheating. There'll be consequences big time. If you have any disabilities, there's no discrimination on physical and mental disabilities. Get something for an accommodation. Go to the proper office. I think Sherry Proctor, Director of Disability Services, take care of that, and we'll deal with mitigations that you need. All right. So hopefully it wasn't too boring. Look forward to seeing you in class, and go Bears.